Welcome to Step by Step. Every Saturday at 4 p.m., I'm painting and taking you along on the journey, step by step. This is a Frankenstein bench. That means we took a bunch of different parts and put it all together. The base is an actual bench, and the top is a bunch of different headboards. There were like 3 different headboards that were put together to make this piece. So it is pretty solid. So I did a video on Chalk Paint 101, and I painted this piece there, and I started on the bottom with Gravel Road, and I just did a little bit of a blend, and the paint colors were inspired by the beadboard say that a couple times, that was put on the seat of the bench. So that inspired the color choices. So this is Dusty Blue, and I'm going to mix that in with the Gravel Road. It's not a real fancy paint blend. As I said, the seed inspired the color choices, but now we're just blending it together, but we're not being totally particular. It's not just the fanciest blend ever. I am using the mister bottle. This is kind of a one coat wonder. We're just using a coat on the lower part because we're going to be using some dark wax as well, and it is such a rustic piece. So I continue the Dusty Blue up onto the back of the headboard. Want to cover that board up, at least part way. And then the next color is Sawmill Gravy. I continue to take that color up there. And then before I start blending, I add a little extra color. As I mentioned, the other part was one coat, but for this part, since it's a white, it's taken a little bit of extra paint. So we're just kind of doing a second coat right away before it even dries too much. So it was kind of drying off pretty quickly, but this will be just fine. The 2 coats can sort of dry together. Sawmill Gravy is one of my very favorite colors. Second only to, I think, Kudzu, but I really shouldn't narrow my choices because there's so many to choose from. They're all amazing. So I continue to paint those details, and then I grab the same brush that I used to blend the other 2 colors in, and I'm going to spray that. Remember, I was doing an instructional video, so I was talking a lot, but there's a good close-up of the seat. So I spray off that blending brush, which is the Belle brush from Dixie Belle, and clean it off a little bit, and then spray my piece, and then I begin to do the blend from the Dusty Blue into the Sawmill Gravy. It probably still has some Gravel Road in it, and I'm okay with that. I was okay with pretty much whatever happened on this piece. I was loving the way the colors were blending. I was just thrilled with the construction phase of it, so very happy the way the paint happened. So I kind of let people pick paint for me, but then I was inspired by the seat. So pretty much they picked the colors that I wanted, or would have wanted. It was a busy day that day, and I only changed one of them out, and this is the one I picked, Rusty Nail. So I'm just cleaning off my brush. I'm just using an artist brush. I misted the brush rather, and I'm just going in those details at the top and just following along and just kind of putting a light coat of paint on there. I use the mister bottle, and I just blend that in. I just want to highlight that, but I do kind of also want to feature a little bit of the rusty nail, so it sort of made it a little streaky. Some places were more intense, And I'm also using the mandala stencil from the silkscreen stencil from the Bells and Whistles collection from Dixie Belle, because I just thought that spot in the bench needed something. This wasn't my original plan, but it just kind of happened in the course of the painting. So that's what's fun, when things happen while you're painting, and it's either a happy accident or just a new discovery, and that makes it fun. So the silkscreen stencils have a little screen in them. The parts that you're painting in are not just a void, they actually have a screen. So you want to work the paint in, and you get about 10 to 12 uses from these wonderful stencils. I wasn't real sure about these at first, but now that I'm using them, I'm in love with them. I just think they're really cool. But you can just wash them when you're done and dry them sticky side up and use them again and again. I'm not being very particular because I'm going to do a little sanding over this to make it look a little more faded and rustic. Ready for the big reveal? I am. Okay, we're just gonna pull that off like a band-aid. And there we go. Oh. And now we're taking some more of the border pieces and working on the bench. And in the same way, we just paint over it and then peel off the stencil, and I just keep going with it. I actually have two of them, so when the one kind of needed rinsed, I would use the other one. So I easily made it across. And then after everything was dry, I came back in with some black wax. And I did not use a clear wax to float it on first. Again, this piece is really rustic, and I was even okay if I wiped back the paint or wiped back the wax and pulled a little paint with it. But I really loved the way the black wax stayed in the details and just accentuated this piece. So here's what we have, and I'm more than in love with this piece. So I hope you enjoy it, and don't be afraid to do a Frankenstein piece from the pieces and parts in your basement. I want to thank you so much for watching today, and we hope you visit us at lavintagedecor.company, and on Instagram we're lavintagedecor, and on Facebook you'll find us at lavintagedecor Altoona. Stay well